brand new wave, drowning out the noise it's tame. Liberty whispers through the brave, breaking free from every chain. Nullify the rules they crave. Crypto beats that pave the way. Anarchy with minds that's safe. Algorithms new dawn today. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride. Beyond control we take a stand, casting off the iron brand. Freedom flowing through our hands. Revolution's our command. Decentralize the way we plan. All together we expand. Breaking shackles for the clan. In this journey we're unpanned. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride.
Welcome to the latest edition of Legacy News, Episode 6, your Crypto Wednesday. I am the Legacy of Jennifer and Kaiser. I am Zachary Kaiser. I am the captain of this enterprise. El Capitan to you, Andrew. And welcome in to Andrew as we dive into some interesting stories involving the blockchain, crypto, governments, centralization, and
Argentina.
Argentina, the libertarians, all aspiring hero. Oh man, it's interesting. It's interesting. This is a short article, so let's dive right into it.
All right.
So, Andrew, I'm gonna move you up top yet again while you dive into the latest from Bitcoin.com.
All right. Hey, Free Roger. Argentina to patrol cyberspace in the hunt for crypto criminals. A recent resolution issued by the Security Ministry of Argentina has added a crypto crimes to their set of activities that will be tracked and surveilled by police forces. Resolution 1330 of 2024 states that the federal security forces will develop countermeasures to fight crimes of unauthorized financial intermediation through the use of crypto assets to prevent them from materializing. The ministry argues that the constant advancements in the cryptocurrency field has generated a space for cyber-assisted crime, affecting a large number of citizens and sparking a rise in pyramid schemes that promise unreal revenue in fiat or digital assets. Yeah, I mean, that's Argentina. Anarcho-capitalist land of the brave, I guess you call it that way.
Fuera. Did I say it right? Who cares?
Nope, I know. I only speak Italian.
Yeah. No. You didn't add it. Shoot. Oh man. Anyway.
Look forward to it Friday.
Yeah. Look forward to it Friday. Honestly, man, this is what I was afraid of.
Argentina needs a little Max Stirner in this piece.
Argentina does need a little Max Stirner, in my opinion. I mean, because honestly, ANCAP, Rothbardian, Libertarian, Austrian,
mutualist, agorist, communist, fascist.
Sounds more like fucking Israeli fascist, in my opinion. Excuse me. I mean, honestly, because, I mean, how can you effectively discuss free, and he's done well. Yeah, I mean, Argentina has actually seen a surplus in the last year. They're actually out of their debt, but now you are tracking down on crypto assets as if they're securities.
Yeah, well, I believe.
Criminals.
I mean, maybe he just haven't. I'm not trying to be an apologist or anything, but maybe he just hasn't gotten to that part of the government model yet.
But he's the president,
Yeah,
so he has some sway, and for the domino effect that he and the chainsaw effect that he's had on this government, you would think that this would be another point of regulation that he would want to cut down, because at this point, who are the criminals that you're after?
you're right. I do believe I remember seeing a news article of some type saying that they were going to allow anybody to use any currency within the borders of Argentina. So I don't know, to and fro.
We'll see what we'll see. We'll see what the plans are for the future. We'll see if this is just a live update of the present and what the present government, with what is still available, is trying to do. Maybe this is just the small scale effect of the socialists that were in power still trying to claim to their regulatory controls. And maybe
Yeah,
this isn't Malay, but it certainly doesn't look good from my perspective for Javier Malay. It
he's
actually
just not moving
effectively makes,
fast enough.
could be the fact that he's not moving fast enough. Uh, could be the fact that he's just a grifting shill. Who knows? We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. Um, in the meantime, to transition away from that, but staying within the sphere of Argentina, an article came out from 5 days ago from Cointelegraph, um, which is interesting, um, pertaining towards El Salvador, the Bitcoin friendly El Salvador. El Salvador to extend crypto agreements beyond Argentina. El Salvador seems to be going at it the right way, but still within the wrong concept, because obviously it is still centralized. Um, Obviously, the tangibility to the utility of Bitcoin is still very much a central core to government control, with the custodial interference that the government has. I mean, not your keys, not your wallet. But at the same time, there are some good things happening. Uh, Maybe the future for Bitcoin and crypto in general is very promising. But as for this, El Salvador extends crypto agreements beyond Argentina. This is a longer article, but just to forewarn you, El Salvador partners with Argentina to strengthen the digital assets industry and has talks underway with over 25 nations for similar partnerships. El Salvador signed a mutual agreement with Argentina to help both countries strengthen their digital asset industries. The Bitcoin friendly nation is also discussing similar agreements with over 25 other countries. It's actually good. That's a good thing. That means that they're willing to expand beyond their own borders and to try to enter into trade agreements involving Bitcoin. Um, On December 11th, Juan Carlos Reyes, who is the president of the National Commission of Digital Assets, the NCDA, in El Salvador, announced the signing of a mutual collaboration and training agreement with Roberto Silva, the president of Argentina's CNV, the National Securities Commission. There is Juan Carlos Reyes to your left, with Roberto Silva Center signing an agreement to further digital asset collaboration between El Salvador and Argentina. The lady there, I have no clue who that is. Maybe she's an intermediary. Maybe she's Roberto Silva's wife. Who knows? Speaking to Cointelegraph, Reyes said Argentina's robust and innovative blockchain industry and El Salvador's technological expertise will create a highly productive partnership, highlighting El Salvador's 3 year advantage over most countries in digital assets regulation. I don't like that word regulation, nor should you if you are a crypto anarchist or even a mutualist agorist. Reyes said one of the most significant immediate benefits will be information sharing, which is exactly what the blockchain is effectively all about. Ain't that right, Andrew?
That's right. It is a public
Particularly
ledger.
since exactly public ledger. Particularly since we have Argentine companies registered in El Salvador. Symbiotic partnerships for mutual benefit. El Salvador plans to refine its own regulatory framework and improve its understanding of the digital assets market through its partnership with Argentina. Additionally, Reyes told Cointelegraph that El Salvador regulators are in talks with multiple nations for similar crypto focused partnerships. Quote, we are currently in discussions with over 25 countries and anticipate many more agreements in the future. As a regulator, we recognize that our approach may be unconventional since we are not what they are used to, a central bank or other legacy entity, which has led to some delays in understanding how we can collaborate with other countries. El Salvador seeks cross-border collaboration to further crypto adoption. To effectively collaborate with other nations, El Salvador has set up a team of over 20 members comprising Bitcoin, which, of course, as of latest, is up above $106,000. Experts in crypto literate individuals. Bitcoin experts and crypto literate individuals. Reyes strongly advised against delaying establishing rules and following financial action task force recommendations, giving a clear message to regulators in other jurisdictions. Quote, the longer you wait, the more challenging it becomes to implement effective regulations. I'd rather you wait, because fuck your regulations, excuse my language. And the greater the risk of scams and money launderers gaining control of the industry. The biggest scammers and money launderers, honestly, everybody, is governments. Reyes also told Cointelegraph that El Salvador is nearing completion of two more agreements with other countries. I wonder who those are. Emphasizing his team's commitment to helping any nation interested in collaborating with El Salvador. Our experience has shown that cross border knowledge sharing is essential for creating a safe and effective regulatory environment, and we encourage other regulators to prioritize this approach, he said.
Let me comment on that last section for just a second. They just said normalize, whether they're talking about normalizing cross sharing knowledge across the border. That's normalizing that what they've been doing for the Five Eyes in other countries for a while now. Is that they don't spy on their citizens directly. They ask other countries to spy on them on their behalf, and this is just making it more transparent for them and a lot harder for us to argue against for us. Just something I spotted what you're talking about it.
Yeah, so basically it's a way to regulate the industry internally by simulating a regulatory trade aspect for information.
Yeah, effectively.
So that's the scary aspect, in my opinion, when you're talking about implementing regulatory effects towards the blockchain. In my opinion, I don't think you will ever be able to truly regulate unless you see an effective asset, I guess, ratio, meaning towards the security and commodity aspect of, say, Bitcoin. So as much as when you look and see Bitcoin and measuring it in comparison to the dollar, and no and promote it as a numbers go up elsewhere, say like in the United States, which is still holds the world reserve currency at the moment, you're effectively making it a lot easier to allow for countries like the United States to say, oh, hey, El Salvador has implemented this as a currency. They are in trade partnerships to expand their currency apparatus of Bitcoin, and thus we need to move onto a scaling factor of Bitcoin being a security and commodities asset, and for which we can utilize as a single reserve to keep ourselves as the top dog. So that's where this is interesting, because this could effectively incentivize the United States to pump up even heavier in the regulatory industry of our own federal government when it comes to crypto, to maintain the reserve status of our country on the world stage and protect the dollar. Maybe match the dollar completely to Bitcoin as the new gold.
Well, I think about it this way: the more they escalate the price, the harder it is to move the Bitcoin. The more the volatility swings wildly, and the harder it is for them to maintain control. Which means just basically what they're doing is they're accelerating what the USSR did, put it on steroids, and without a successful framework to, have an alternative, they are basically giving up power at an escalating rate that I don't think anybody's ever seen before. I mean, you can't see it effectively, but that's what's happening. And these alternative cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin Cash, which is the real Bitcoin, by the way, and Monero, there's for everybody. It's like you jumping off of the roof of a big building onto one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna catch the weight, and they're gonna distribute the shock, and people are just gonna go like normal, like nothing ever happened, because these people have so much hubris.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well said. Effectively, what they're trying to do is they're trying to de-incentivize the scalability of real alternatives such as Bitcoin Cash, the real Bitcoin, and Monero, and all these different alternative means of exchange to enforce the asset carrying of the backing of a digital gold.
Yeah. The funny thing is that the people who are OG miners who got probably significant Bitcoin Bitcoins, they're going to move their through Zano, they're going to move their assets over to other blockchains and force the central government's hands. At least that's how I'm reading it for now, because they won't have much to do once they're running out of oxygen and they can't justify their existence anymore.
Explain that further, actually, for those who aren't completely adept towards the crypto atmosphere. What do you mean?
Are you talking about? Well, there's
using Xano to move off into other blockchains.
There's a Xano is a new cryptocurrency. The longer this runs, there's going to be alternatives for people to jump to, but it's basically a translation layer, and it obfuscates people's what they have stored, and it shifts the balance of power from Bitcoin Core to alternatives like Xano, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. So it's definitely going to be an interesting wild ride.
It's going to be an interesting 4 years when it comes to the United States, and to see what goes on with the rest of the world. And it's going to be very interesting on what El Salvador has in store with their new collaboration agreements that they're starting with Argentina and trying to expand. So it's going to be very interesting for what's going to go on to the world, go on in the world within crypto and fiat and the industry as a whole, the monetary industry, I should say.
Oh, man, what a wild ride.
It's a roller coaster effect, everybody. So get ready to we're going up, but we're starting to peak on that slope. So are we going to is it going to malfunction and we're going to stay atop of that peak and wait to see if they can let us go down, or are we going to fall off are we going to be forced to go backwards? And we're still going down the slope, but we've malfunctioned to the point where it's just going to kick us backwards and we're going to crash, or we fix it and we'll have a regular market correction where you hit up the peak, market is volatile, and we go down and then we go up again.
Well, I think, the amount of volume we've gotten as well, it can only go for so long before it overheats. And yeah, it could potentially lower and dip, but it's not going to go like other corrections before. It's going to fluctuate back and forth. And while that's happening within volume of crypto, specifically Bitcoin Core, you have real world events that are happening that can't keep to the pace of what's going on stability wise with what they're perceiving to be the long-term goal for Bitcoin Core, is trying to maintain their position of power over the crypto system, economy. So say the stuff that's going on in Syria right now, that they've got this money and they're like, oh, well, we'll have to draw it out in order to maintain, our power over our population and over our projects in the Middle East and us fighting Russia. Well, you're kind of screwed if you do, screwed if you don't, because you put yourself in a bind where you have all this money, right? And it's in Bitcoin Core, and it's supposed to compromise everybody's ability to have, independence within the crypto space, but also you want to control them so that they can't have that independence. But you also have people in real life who are operating on your behalf in the Middle East to try to take control over the world. Not just the Middle East, but just different operations around the world.
Yeah, and then you have, speaking of the Middle East, then you have the idea of crypto being utilized as a criminal enterprise. You have more regulations in most of the rest of the world to combat the illicit means of what crypto is being used, which is to help fund terrorists in the Middle East.
Propaganda. That's propaganda.
That is propaganda, but it's not. But at the same time, there is a truth element because it is decentralizing, and it's hard as much as the blockchain is an open ledger. It is a lot harder to track. You can track it, but it's a lot harder to track theoretically than it is in our digital fiat atmosphere. Now, I mean, if you were to utilize cash, and even cash is just as easy to track if you get a hold of those bills and go off of the serial numbers of that cash, of those dollars or pounds or whatever, what have you. But the fact of the matter is crypto is a great enterprise to get into if you are enamored into funding your wars of your holy jihads, your wars to fight the infidel. I mean, I'd use Monero to fund my campaigns. Why wouldn't you? But that's where the propaganda gets heated, because then you're effectively giving governments of the world, specifically in the West and specifically America, to run their military industrial complex campaigns of war profiteering, the ability to say, hey, these guys are bad guys and crypto bad.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
a
all
money
it takes is it takes two different people down the road for you to say, hey, that guy's you doing something illegal and dangerous. We had to block it all.
which is entirely funny because you're Americans, your dollar is literally set up to be a money laundering scheme. I mean, look what we're doing in Ukraine. Look what we're doing in the Middle East.
There's
The
not
last
even an
couple
audit
years.
about the money that's going over Ukraine. They're just trusting on blind faith.
Trust it on blind faith. You will never know. You will never know. They will never audit the Fed. They will never audit the Treasury. They will never stop printing and creating new money. The only way out is literally just to dump yourself out of this bull crap and get into something that's more tangible in your own personal wealth, using a different currency for a means of exchange.
Let me be a little contrarian here. Do you think they're going to relax their crypto rules here for the Donald Trump administration with the IRS coming up?
No. If anything, they're going to expand it. Now, will they effectively push for a use of Bitcoin, stay as another tangible asset to tax? Yes, they're going to allow you if you want. I wouldn't be surprised because it's already happened on a state level in Louisiana. You can pay your property tax if you choose to, and if you do have, like, say, Bitcoin Core, you can pay your property tax or whatever your taxes in the state of Louisiana if you choose in gold, silver, or crypto.
Yeah.
I can see that with this incoming Trump administration, where they open it more so to make it easier for you to pay taxes in crypto, specifically Bitcoin. Don't pay taxes in Bitcoin because you're basically effectively getting double taxed. You got to pay the high fees for the slow transaction rate of an unscalable security at this point. Yeah, for the processing. So you're being taxed there, and then you're going to be taxed to pay the tax by the government using Bitcoin. So you're going to go from fees to tax to paying the tax.
Yep.
Don't pay taxes in crypto. Keep that shit
Don't pay
on the
taxes at all.
blockchain. Don't pay taxes. Yeah, taxation is theft. Taxation is extortion. And in some perspectives, some people would say taxation is slavery.
Renounce your citizen and go to St. Kitts and Nevis. That way you don't have to pay taxes at all. Buy your citizenship there.
Is it Nevis or Nevis?
Nevis.
I've heard it either way.
Nevis.
I've heard it pronounced either or.
Tell us in the comments below.
Yeah, tell us in the comments below. So we are almost to the half an hour point. Anything else to say, Andrew?
No. Thanks for watching. I won't be here this Friday. Unfortunately, I have to work. But Zach's got you hooked up. We will be back next Friday. Everything should be good.
We'll figure something out, everybody. So this Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, right after the 7 p.m. Eastern showing of Buds in Reality. Check that out as well. Follow Buds. 9 p.m. Eastern will be the Legacy Rights live stream. Andrew will not be there. I will have something in store for you. Hopefully I can get somebody to take his place, but if not, we will have some fun. And then it will be on the podcast circuit by Sunday. So if you don't like to watch it live, you can always come back later on the podcast circuit or go to YouTube. Live on X and YouTube every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. As well as tomorrow, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, the World Blockchain Roundtable. Join us in the comments, YouTube and X. Get into the conversation. That is always a lot of fun. Joe Roach, I am, Greg from Rivet, and anybody and everybody that also joins. Hopefully, Lisa, Litecoin, and or Litecoin Lisa and Satoshi Sean are back as always as well. It's always great when we have a full house of everybody jumping on. So, but join us on the World Blockchain Roundtable every Thursday at 11 a.m. Lots of fun, and join us in the comments. Don't just watch; join the conversation. Leave a comment. And leave a comment down below here. Leave a comment on the Legacy Right. Subscribe to the Legacy Right, and share all of this. Let's beat the algorithm. Let's get this message across. Let's beat the world by showing there are alternatives, both in renouncing your citizenship to the empire and utilizing the alternatives of the blockchain. With that, I think we are done here, Andrew. I think you can go backstage. Peace, long live and prosper. Have a good night.